All right, so in this lick, we're going to talk about a concept of sequencing arpeggios. Now, it's really amazing the way Guthrie works in and out of these things, and that's another thing we'll touch on real quickly, because a lot of people will, especially when it comes to arpeggios, we're so used to playing scales, especially pentatonic stuff, riffing and stuff. We're doing 3-note per string scales. But when people get into arpeggios, a lot of times they'll just play some, say, pentatonic stuff and then throw in an arpeggio, and they'll either go up or down it, and then they'll go right back into riffing again, where Guthrie seamlessly works into these ideas and works himself out of it. So we'll touch on that real quick at the end. But this is basically going up in, say, in a C-sharp minor pentatonic into an A major 7 arpeggio. So, and he just adds in some chromatic notes. That's how he kind of seamlessly works into it. So this is pentatonic stuff. And then chromatic stuff. And then he just goes down an arpeggio sequence. And again, it's not just going right down it. He actually sequences in the middle. So he goes, then he repeats, and that's where he switches position. Then he gets into this position, and then he seamlessly works out of it by, again, adding chromatic notes. So the whole thing is, gets into a bending of a note. But if you notice, he also starts sequencing up. Throwing in chromatic notes on the top of it. But you see how he seamlessly goes from pentatonic, chromatics, arpeggio, sequences the arpeggio again, switches position, goes up the arpeggio and sequences it again a little, and then works into a little bit of chromatics. And that's, again, a device that Guthrie uses a lot. When he works in and out of things, he'll throw in some chromatic notes a lot of times instead of just going straight arpeggio to scale, arpeggio to scale. So what you want to take out of this too is, if you notice this arpeggio, he could have played it like this, right? Where he's playing that 13th fret of the G string instead of playing the 9th fret of the B string. Because when we learn that arpeggio shape, we usually learn it that way. But he does with the pinky on the 13th fret. And that allows for that little sequence, which would be much harder if you had to sweep that. So to take out of this, think about moving in and out of licks, seamlessly, maybe throwing in some chromatic notes here and there. Using pentatonics on either end of an arpeggio. Also, think about sequencing an arpeggio instead of just running straight down it. Mix up some of the notes in the middle of it. And sometimes you may have to switch where you play those notes so it's easier to play those sequences. Use it with major, minor, diminished arpeggios. Just, run the gamut, but take that little sequence and working in and out of it into your playing as a concept.